All right, I will start to roll call the participants who did not answer earlier. Right. So the two participants were first Muhammad Aiman Cyprian bin Muhammad Nizam. Are you here? Second one is Glory Christopher. Are you here? All right, we'll check up on them again.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start our program shortly. Before we begin, please ensure that your microphone is muted to avoid any disruptions during the program. Your cooperation is highly appreciated. Thank you. A delightful evening we would like to wish to our honorable judge, distinguished guests, wonderful participants, and viewers. Before proceeding to our program, let us start our lovely evening with a prayer recitation. Without further ado, please welcome Muhammad Suhail bin Ahmad Nawawi, the president of UPM TESOL Club, to lead the prayers.
Thank you, Eva. Before we begin, let us recite our Kitab al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيدا يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد صلاة تنجينا بها من جميع الأحوال والآفات وتقضي لنا بها جميع الحاجات وتطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات وترفعنا بها عندك أعلى الدرجات وتبلغنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Praise be to God, the Lord of the world. Peace and blessing be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, and for those who followed his example to the judgment day. Allahumma ya Allah, on this blessed night, in conjunction with the Salam Poetry program, we beseech thee and are grateful to you in favor of all the infinite blessings to us, your humble servant, to live in safe and prosperous life. We seek your blessings for flawless progress of this event from the beginning up until the end. We seek your guidance to steer clear of the event that would be detrimental to the progress of this event. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وادخلنا جنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين وصلى الله عليه وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين 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 يا رب العالمين.
Thank you to Muhammad Suhail bin Ahmad Nawawi for the prayer recitation. It is in our greatest hope that not only will our evening be showered with blessings, but also for this program to run smoothly.
Ladies and gentlemen, today marks the day of this very wonderful program that will showcase the extraordinary talents of our participants. Without further ado, we would like to welcome all of you to Infinite Lights Slam Poetry Competition. This slam poetry competition is one of the competition in our Arts and Literature Festival this year with the theme Escapism, a journey across time and space. I, Muzamil Hakim bin Azami,
And I, Evangeline Chong,
will be your MCs for today. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for spending your night with us.
ladies and gentlemen, for your information, this year Infinite Lights Slam Poetry Competition is organized by the English Language Society UPSI in collaboration with Ethos, TESOL Student Association, UPM TESOL Club, and Persatuan Ilmu Pendidikan USM. Slam poetry, as we know or might not know to some of you, comprises of various talents that highlight their work of art through the poet's ravishing performance. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to all of you the judge for today's competition. We have Dr. Lajiman bin Januri, an English lecturer from UPSI, as our wonderful judge for slam poetry competition. And this evening, we are also joined by Dr. Wan Mazlini binti Osman, Head of English Language and Literature Department, Dr. Kazaila binti Zaini, Head Advisor of English Language Society, and co-advisors of English Language Society, Dr. Mazlim binti Muhammad Mokhtar, and Dr. Nur Al Husna binti Maslan as our distinguished guests. Please welcome them.
Before we jump into the fun part, we would like to call upon our head of English Language and Literature Department, Dr. Wan Mazlini binti Osman, to officiate our program this wonderful evening.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to what do you call that? Say my thank to Dr. Lajiman, okay, our Sifu in literature, yeah, for his willingness to be the judge, yeah, for slam poetry tonight, okay. And then next, I would like to congratulate the who is the person in charge, Evangeline, yeah, the program director, Miss Evangeline, all right, for inviting me to this Infinite Light slam poetry competition. I think this is the first time that we are having it online, yeah, I would say. Okay, all right. And then I would like also to congratulate all the committee members, okay, for your hard work to make this event what do you call that, successful. All right. Okay, and then congratulations also to the English Language Society of UPSI. All right, with your effort, yeah, you managed to come up with this slam poetry competition with the collaboration with 3 other local university societies, all right, which are ETOS, what do you call that? ETOS TESOL Students Association, yeah, UITM. All right, and then we also have UPM TESOL Club. I did my first degree in UPM, and also Persatuan Ilmu Pendidikan USM. I was just wondering, do you have any representative from these 3 societies? Evangeline?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, okay.
Yes,
So
we do.
if there are representative from these 3 societies, I would like to congratulate everyone, and I would like to also thank you, yeah, to these 3 societies for your willingness to join us and make this event quite a big event, yeah, in UITM, UPM, and also another one from USM. Okay. All right. So I really hope that this event will bring, joy to everyone. Okay. While listening to the slam poetry recitation, or, more to competition. Okay. This is actually my first time, yeah, to join slam poetry performances, or, competition. And I'm very glad that, you invited me to come. And I'm really looking forward, yeah, to listen to your presentations. And then another question, Evangeline, do we have participants from these 3 societies?
There is one from UITM and another from USM.
All right, thank you for participating. Yeah, I really hope that in the future we will have more participations, yeah, from other societies, from other university. Okay. All right. So again, congratulations. I wish all of you the best. Those who are in the competition, all the best. All right. Perform the best. Enjoy the night. Yeah, and I really hope that this is not going to be the first time. It's going to be, more collaboration with other societies from other university. Okay. Okay, and then again, thank you for having me. All right, in this slam poetry competition. Again, I would like to extend my greatest appreciation, yeah, to Dr. Lajiman for his willingness, yeah, to be the judge. Although other lecturers cannot join us tonight, I'm pretty sure, some of them are watching on YouTube, yeah, live on YouTube. Good evening, and also congratulations to the ELS members who are watching us on YouTube live, right? So enjoy yourself as well. Okay. All right. With Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I hereby officiate Infinite Light Slam Poetry Competition 2022. Thank you very much.
It is an honor to have Dr. Wan Maslini binti Othman to officiate and kickstart their program this evening. I'm so excited to discover the talents of our participants that go beyond the Milky Way, shooting across time and space just like our theme. Shall we get moving then?
That is true, Eva. Though we're not physically together right now, I can feel the excitement around me, colorful and drifting, as if escaping reality for the moment. How about you?
I Muzam. Certainly, I can feel it too. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's make haste through the Milky Way and start our journey across time and space now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this first poem was inspired by something a lot of us can relate to: the side effects of burnout and academic pressure or adulting, so much that you eventually lose yourself or who you thought you were. Without further ado, we welcome the first poet, Sunetra Ganesaratinam, to present her poem titled Funeral.
Hi, can everyone hear me? Is it clear enough? Yes, okay. I'll start now. Hi, everyone. So my name is Mishra, and this is my poem, Funeral. All right. I desperately try to string together fragments of a life you used to know, of the person I still think you are, in hopes of painting this grossly vivid vision that will put Monet to shame, where the palette isn't empty and the pot a dirty mess. But if I succeed, I'd be pulling off the greatest hoax because you were never that person, though I desperately want you to be. But maybe she's somewhere in there, my muse, a pale mirage of a former self, who replied to messages and didn't need lists to remember her favorite things or helps from strangers to get up from seats. Or maybe I simply cling to the colors because they are fragments of a life you can't let go. One I need to remember before I lose all of herself. Thank you.
Such an emotional performance by Sunetra Ganesaratinam with a poem Funeral to kickstart our slam poetry tonight.
Well, moving on to the next poet. The theme of this year's Arts and Literature Festival gave her the idea to create a fantasy world based on a game that she had played. So, what she had created is a monologue of an immortal man who had lived countless millennia, still suffering from the loss of a loved one in a war that devastated the now flourished land called Liyue. She, Guizhong, perished in a beautiful field of lilies and breathed her last breath in his arms. Now, please welcome Magdalena Long Mei Ring with her poem, My Dear Guizhong.
My name is Magdalena, and now I will recite my poem. Pranced by the ocean on those windy days, thoughts consume the mind as it blows down south. What the waves and rains, even if it stays, does it dawn you then, the words from my mouth? The kindling of fire which brings comfort within the empty hallways of silence, and peace that came with the scent of your ship. I wish to stop the loss of life's balance. Time seemed to slow down as it witnessed death, not the disease, but parts that left the heart. Wishing time to stop and return your breath. I can't bear the pain of being part. We almost grasped the stars as we were mad, because you're the one that I should have had. Thank you. My name is Magdalena.
Wow, what such an emotional performance by Magdalena Long Mei Ring.
The next poem was inspired by a dream that the poet had of a beautiful girl. The images mirrored in her dreams are a mystery. They were rather vivid, a space, a world that she's unable to understand. Please welcome Lingeshwari Manikam with a poem titled Beautiful, beautiful girl.
Hi, I'm Ingeshwari Manikam and this is my poetry recital video. Pardon me for how I look. It's been such a long day and I decided to just record this poetry recitation. Before I recite my poem, I would like to give a small set context about what this poem is. It is essentially about dreams, jumping onto a plane where reality seems to be constructed and you're not sure whether you're actually there, but you're somehow there and you just don't have a particular reason to why you're there and how you're there, all kind of those things. Okay, so I always have vivid dreams, okay, and often I'm able to remember small minute details about the dreams that I had even after long hours of waking up. And this particular poem is also about a dream that I had months ago. It is about a person, a girl, and for some reason I was so attracted to her, and she's a stranger. I've never met her before, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna write about her. Why not? It could be a version of me. Not like a version of me. Maybe just not. Maybe it's a soulmate. We never know, right? So here we go. Beautiful, beautiful girl, as the entitled goes. It was 4. I recalled your lingering scent, drumming onto the door of my subliminals, secreted in loose shade of soft brunette locks, parted in the middle, short and slick as your eyes were, scrunched and settled in between the lines of the book you were producing, unbeknownst from the chaos flaring around us. I was not able to take my eyes off your shady leather coat, wrapping your svelte frame in heavenly eclat, stuck to my loose floral gown, snug in all its wide rounds, silently pleading for you to notice as they unashamedly dance to every rhythmic beat of the taunting breeze, subtly fondling along with my scarred knees to my thighs that refused to hold themselves together, as I wondered why. Perhaps it is the long strands of fringe splitting and fighting for its spot in between the fair hairline conjoined in the shape of an elliptic forehead, flaunting its territory that I can't seem to reach. At least for now, I mused, once again fixated on your hunched posterior, crowding your senses away from the cruel air, kissing your soft and rough skin that I can't help but to notice in agony, envy even, jeans loose, cuffed at the bottom of your lean ankle, adorned in raven boots, complementing the belt secured around your slim waist, grazing what belongs to mine. You're a dream, engulfing my lone body at your mercy, a force I can't fathom amidst the haze, clouding the coherency, slowly unthreading its knot far away from me, in hopes of reaching your being telepathically. Would I? Tell me. Thank you. Bye.
Amazing performance by Lingeshwari Manikam with Beautiful, Beautiful Girl.
Our fourth poet is inspired by the theme escapism. According to her, surely we have all our place to escape from the exhausting reality sometimes, which I do agree. Well, the way that she escapes reality is by going back to the 16th century for the comfort there. She loves reading books with princes and princesses, the journey of a kingdom, and movies with the similar concepts as well. This poet is sure that all of us have our own place of comfort to go in order to escape reality, and her poem today tells us about hers. From UITM, let's welcome Noor Hasia binti Rosti with her poem A Place I Want to Be, Old Library Among the Dusty Books in the Late 16th Century.
Hi everyone, my name is Noor Hashamita Rusli and I am a UITM student. Okay, so for this slam poetry competition, as the theme is escapism, journey across time and space, so I decided to write a poem about a place I wanted to be, which is old library among the dusty books in the 19th century. So that's the title. So enjoy it. So let's move on to the recitation video. A place I want to be. An old library among the dusty books in the late 16th century by Nora Rushdie. The excitement that non-nobles could understand. While they are busy changing garments to a dress and showing off the jewels that commoners can afford, I would run off to a place I call home. Hearing the footstep to the place that is older than I do, and the sound of bell indicating that I'm there. Ah, it is a music to my melody. The woody smell resembles how old it's been. The musky yet spreading the vanilla scent throughout the flipping. I could see the world through the music I read. When the bitter taste of cold air goes through my chest, mixing with the dust that accompanies most of the book, sipping a sweet flavor of hot chocolate warms the cold hands of mine. This is the honey taste of love, the love only I understand. As I touch the hardcover of the book in the shelf, finding the right ones to read, the right place to be. On the hard floor I sat. Very unlikely for a jerk's daughter, but at least I'm happy.
What a splendid performance by Noor Hasia binti Rusdi with her poem, A Place I Want to Be, Old Library Among the Dusty Books in the late 16th century.
Now, our fifth poet's writing and recitation is about loving someone in every universe or the multiverse. From USM, please welcome Nur Shafinas binti Nordin Raja with her poem Finding You in Every Universe.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Nur Shafinas Nordin Raja, a first year student of University of Science Malaysia. Today, I would like to recite a poem entitled Finding You in Every Universe in regard to the theme of the competition, Escapism, A Journey Across Time and Space. Thank you. Oh, what is it with me? Always trailing after your shadows in every path and promenade. The ticking of the clock never made sense, nor does how the seasons change. For I ask myself, shouldn't you be immortalized amidst these journeys? And yet I know even flowers blush against your dainty touches. When I whispered softly all my yearnings, did your ears twitch or your breath hitch? Did your steps alter and my words never alter? I believe the space is only spread so far so you can flourish endlessly. I will cross every universe to come to you and love you infinitely every second I can. For I believe the multiverse exists for me to come and find you and love you eternally. Oh, what is it with me? Always thinking about ways to escape reality, skipping merrily across the universe with you.
That is Finding You in Every Universe by Nur Shafinas binti Nordin Raja. Very sweet, don't you agree?
Yes, definitely. So without further ado, we welcome our next poet, Theresa Ng Mei Lee, to present her poem. According to the author, the easiest form of escapism for her is to dream away from the mundane and the ordinary. It is the easiest, but also the most addictive. What if she wants more than what she has now? Please welcome Theresa Ng Mei Lee with a poem titled Mr. Sandman.
Hi everyone, my name is Teresa and I will be reciting my poem titled Mr. Sandman. Mr. Sandman, Mr. Sandman, I call for you, Mr. Sandman. Can you hear me? Mr. Sandman, your child is calling. Mr. Sandman, Mr. Sandman, it has been so long since you have come around with your beautiful dreams of the blooming garden, of the bright blue sky. Mr. Sandman, Mr. Sandman, why have you not answered? All I ask is for another dream of the joyful laughter, of the warm love as before. You see, Mr. Sandman, something is wrong with my dreams. They have only been nightmares. And when I open my eyes, they continue in my waking hours. Mr. Sandman, Mr. Sandman, maybe if I sleep longer, will you grant my dreams? Yes, maybe you will, Mr. Sandman. I will find a way to meet you again. Mr. Sandman, Mr. Sandman. Thank you.
Whoa, this hits deep. So that was a wonderful performance by Teresa Ng Mei Lee with her poem Mr. Sandman.
Right. So the next poem, written during her own experience of grief after losing someone she really loved, not through death, but through a breakup. Sometimes she recalls the memory with him simply because it's a happy memory, even though he's not with her anymore and he won't be anytime soon. Please welcome our seventh poet, Shazwani Izati binti Muhammad Sahape, with her poem Stay.
Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. My name is Shazwani Izati. I also go by my pen name, which is Esther Stella, which you probably notice that I post poems every once in a while. Well, it's been a while since I write poems. In fact, I wrote this one just now, just literally this night. I'm so sorry. Okay, so yeah, the title is Stay, and let's go. Every once in a while, I'd find myself staring into the distance, past the concrete wall, past the abstract veil, and there I am, shrouded in a dark, blurry mass of a familiar place, where I felt happiest, I felt safest. I'd recall things that happened, that should happen, that never happened, that I wish would have happened. A voice would call out to me, "Come back, you're not there anymore." And I could feel the ground beneath my feet. I am once again made aware of my surroundings. This is not what I want. Every now and then, despite the voice telling me not to, despite everyone holding me close to them, I'd go back to that forbidden memory. Take me back there and let me stay where I feel I am me and not who I shouldn't be. That's all from me. Thank you.
Such a heart-rending poem by Shazwani Izati binti Muhammad Sahape.
Now, there are times when the next poet was in distress, when he turned to Narnia to find solace, to be in solitude, a solitude from all the troubles of the world, one that brings adventure and pure joy, one that makes him forget the reality, one true escape. This poem was inspired by his passion and love for fantasy fiction. The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, being one of his favorites, had inspired him. With his poem titled The Woods in the Wardrobe, please welcome Muhammad Aiman Siberian bin Muhammad Nizam.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, so I am Muhammad Aiman Saiprin bin Muhammad Nizam, and my final. This is my final thing that I'm joining because I finally finished my degree. So, okay. I also goes by my pen name as well, Errol. Okay, so I finally get to know who Esther Stella is. So, yeah, so it's Errol in the submitted PDF. Okay, so this is the words in the wardrobe. Meeting Lucy was fancy. She took me in and let me be, let me live and in her reality. It started as a walk into the words in the wardrobe. Tumness was a great pleasure, and the beavers told me I was not a bother. Oh, and there were Peter, Susan, and Edmund too. The Provences, boys too, girls too. The wood in the wardrobe was not just a wood. It was a landmass stretches from the great eastern ocean to the wild winds of the north. With the Provences, I traversed my fantasies. There were merpips and a talking mouse called Ripichips, centaurs and fawns and minotaurs too, because without them, it would all be untrue. The walk into the woods in the wardrobe was not just a walk. Little did I know. It was a fight, not mine, not theirs, a fight for a land I have yet to know but started to grow. Into the woods, in the wardrobe, I brave his land as the thought of mine leaves my brain. Thank you.
That was such a wonderful performance by Muhammad Aiman Saipirian bin Muhammad Nizam with his poem, The Words in the Wardrobe.
Moving on to our last poet. Now, bear with me, this is quite long. Legends and mythologies have always been her form of escape when it comes to writing, like a doorway for her to create a literature work with her version of interpretation. Her poem is based on the Greek mythological character Atlas himself. In Greek mythology, he is cursed to hold the weight of the heavens on his shoulders. Despite it being a curse to him, however, people who have heard of his stories lauded him for his endurance without knowing how much he wanted to let go if he could. With that in mind, she decided to write a poem to commemorate all the Atlases out there who have to bear their version of heavens on their shoulders. People see us as independent and strong-willed characters, but if only they know what would happen if these Atlases decided to walk away from his responsibility one day. Now, let us welcome Glory Christopher with her poem titled Atlas Complex.
Yeah, thank you so much for that very grandeur opening. I just want to say my internet connection is quite shaky, so please bear with me. I'll try to channel my inner poet as much as I can. Okay, with my internet connection. I hope it's cooperating tonight. Okay, so my name is Glory Christopher, and this is a very short poem actually, and it's titled Atlas Complex. So here goes. I have to keep my cool. One broken smile and this nation catches fire. It's true. I have what I view. I see people doing wonders. I see them bloom like flowers. But what would happen when watchers fall asleep? The kingdom falls apart. I'm talking chaos ensues. But what am I to do? What am I to do? I'm an ancient being, punished to shoulder the weight of the sky for all eternity. Yeah, so that's Atlas Complex by me. Thank you so much.
Very beautiful. So that was Glory Christopher with her poem Atlas Complex. Excellent performance. So now, thank you to all the participants for their astounding performances. To show our appreciations for their amazing work of arts, let us all give a round of applause to all these wonderful poets.
All right, now that we have watched and listened to every spectacular performances, I believe it is time for us to listen to our honorable judge.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite the judge to give his general comment or perhaps an encouragement to our participants. Let us welcome Dr. Lajiman bin Janori.
All right, thank you very much, the host and all participants, our head of department as well, who is here spending time with us. Thank you very much. I was actually surprised when Evangeline contacted me, to be a judge. I think we need to clear a little thing here. Slam poetry, sometimes it's called poetry slam. It's quite different from our usual poetry recitation, right? So becoming the only judge, so I can be quite biased, right? You haven't thought about that. I mean, normally we have around 3 maybe, even from amongst the students themselves, at least 5. I mean, at least 3, but 5 should be okay. Because I'm afraid that people will say, you are biased, that's why you have, these students as the winner, and so on and so forth. But anyway, I have to admit, when I read all the poems, they're all very, I'm astounded by these poems. They are very outstanding in a sense. This is there are room for improvement, right? So I can make some criticism here, but like I mentioned, poetry is different from slam poetry, and that's why it's called slam poetry, not poetry recitation. The difference is there's some of them. For example, of course, you have to recite and not to read. That applies for all poetry recitation. But slam poetry is different in a sense that it engages with the student, with the audience. That's why it's normally a free verse, not all these sonnet-like poems, for example, because you need to engage with the audience, with the spectator. Okay, what I see, they are very good poems, I have to admit, but they are, to me, not actually slam poetry. Okay, they are poetry recitation. I have to admit, I cannot even write some of the poems. They're very good. I like Stay, for example. It's very simple but very beautifully written by the students. So if I were to choose one of my favorite poems, that would be Stay. Okay. And I think all of you have performed well, but I think we can see who is the outstanding participant here, right? I think she deserves to be, the winner for this poetry competition. I'm yet to calculate the marks. I will give this to, I don't think I have to announce the winner, right? Tonight, is it, Evangeline?
No, doctor. We will calculate the total scores and we'll announce it during the closing ceremony.
All right. When is the closing ceremony?
On the 24th.
All right. So, and normally it's in free verse. Okay, it's in free verse, but of course with some melodious, we still use assonance, all these metaphors and so forth. The figurative language is still important in poetry. All right. I think that's it. That's my comment. Okay, I have to admit that you all perform quite well, but not to my expectation of slam poetry. Okay, so because I think we misunderstand what slam poetry means. Okay, and the origin of slam poetry itself is actually to break free from the normal poetry recitation, to make it much more interesting, in a sense to engage with the audience. So it is as if you are talking to these people, to the audience in front of you, not reciting on your own, and then that's it. All right, I think that's it for me tonight. Of course, can be quite harsh. I don't know how you will accept this, but I think, it's a learning process for me and as well as for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Dr. Lajiman for the words of encouragement and advice. I am sure all the participants here will continue to improve their creation in times to come.
Lovely viewers, please be informed that the attendance form will be posted on the YouTube live chat box. Please do not forget to fill it in. Thank you. But before we end, we would like to ask everyone to turn on their camera for a photo session. Let us all give some cute poses for the pictures. Are you all ready? The PDI team will now take over.
Okay, all right. Hi, everyone. So I'll be taking the pictures for tonight. Okay, so smile for the camera. Oh. Okay, so first, okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, nice. Let us take another one. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
All right,
everyone.
good night, everyone.
Finally, that marks the end of our Infinite Lights Slam Poetry competition. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us for today, especially to Dr. Lajiman Benjanuri, members of Ethos TESOL Student Association, members of UPM TESOL Club, members of Persatuan Ilmu Pendidikan USM, the participants, and last but not least, the viewers. Hopefully, the wings of our poet will forever soar and waste not your talents.
But before you go, if you're interested, please join us in participating in other ongoing competitions we have under Art and Literature Festival this year, which are photography competition, artwork competition, and writing partnership. The registration link will be posted on the YouTube live chat box.
We would also like to remind everyone to stay tuned for the closing ceremony where we will announce the winners for each competition throughout our Arts and Literature Festival. The closing ceremony will be held on 24th May 2022 in a live session on both Google Meet and YouTube Live. Lastly, we would like to apologize for any inconveniences caused. My name is Muzamil Hakim bin Azami.
And I, Evangeline Chong, will be signing off. Until we meet again,